NCRT TOASTS on Ailmentary canal under 8 minutes. Ailmentary canal. So let's begin by studying each of the following components of ailmentary canal in a sequential manner. It starts with mouth, which leads to buccal cavity. Buccal cavity leads to pharynx. Pharynx leads to esophagus. Esophagus leads to stomach. Stomach leads to small intestine. Small intestine opens into large intestine, and large intestine finally opens into anus. Now, let's discuss each of these components in a detailed manner, starting with buccal cavity. Buccal cavity consists of teeth, palate, and tongue. Let's define dentition. Dentition is the arrangement of teeth in each half of upper and lower jaw in the order incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Now, human dentition has the following features. Heterodont. Different types of teeth are present. Diphyodont. Two sets of teeth appear during a person's lifetime. Tecodont. Teeth are embedded in jawbone. Now, let's study some peculiar features of all the types of teeth. Incisors, biting and cutting. Canines, tearing and shearing. Premolars, cheek teeth. Molars, grinders. Now, let's classify the human set of teeth into two types, temporary set and permanent set. The temporary set has the dental formula of 2102 upon 2102, while the permanent set has the dental formula of 2123 upon 2123. Now, the number of incisors in temporary set is 8, while canines are 4, premolars are 0, and molars are 8, which totals to 20. And in permanent set, the number of incisors is 8, canines 4, premolars 8, molars 12, which totals to 32. Now, let's discuss some of the details of tooth. A tooth has three parts: crown, neck, and root. Now, the crown is made up of enamel. Enamel is the hardest substance of body. It is non-living and only present in crown area, and it helps in mastication of food. Now, let's list some of the details of tongue. The tongue is the strongest muscle of human body. It helps to taste, eat, speak, and swallow. It is attached to the oral cavity floor by a lingual frenulum. Also, the small projection called papillae on them bear taste buds, also known as the gustatoreceptors. Now, let's discuss some facts about pharynx. The pharynx is the common passage for air and food. We can also say that it leads to esophagus and trachea at the same time. The following diagram depicts the parts of pharynx, which is nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. Now, let's move to esophagus. Esophagus is a 23 to 25 centimeter long tube running dorsal to trachea, which transports food to stomach, passes through neck, thorax, and enters abdomen. No digestion takes place in this passage. It leads to stomach via gastroesophageal sphincter, also known as cardiac sphincter. Now, the esophagus leads to stomach. Stomach is a J-shaped muscular, involuntary, and just below diaphragm situated organ. It is present in upper left corner of abdomen. Also, stomach has the strongest peristalsis, and stomach has four parts: cardiac, fundus, body, and pylorus. Now, let's classify the various parts of stomach in a detailed manner. Number 1. Cardiac. Esophagus opens into this region. As the name suggests, the cardiac sphincter opens into this region and prevents backflow of stomach contents. The next part is fundus. Fundus is a dome-shaped region and it contains peptic cells and gas. The next part is pylorus. Pylorus is the posterior part of stomach. It opens into small intestine via pyloric sphincter. And the final part is body. Body is the main part of our food digestion. It has gastric rugae. Rugae are the folds of mucosa in the innermost layer. Now, let's move to small intestine. Small intestine is the site for maximum digestion of food and maximum absorption of food. It has three parts: duodenum, the highly coiled region; jejunum, the middle long coiled region; and ileum, the C-shaped part. Now, small intestine opens into large intestine. And large intestine is the portion of alimentary canal which has the largest cross-section area and helps named so. It is responsible for water and mineral absorption and it has three portions, cecum, colon, and rectum. Now let's list the various parts of large intestine in a brief manner. The first part is cecum. Cecum is a small vestigial blind sac which hosts some symbiotic microorganisms. Cecum leads to ascending colon, which further leads to transverse colon. Transverse colon continues as descending colon, and descending colon finally ends as sigmoid colon. The sigmoid colon opens into rectum, and rectum is the storehouse of undigested feces. Now, let's study the gut histology in a brief manner. The outermost layer of gut is also known as serosa, and serosa consists of thin epithelium and connective tissue. Below serosa, we have outer longitudinal muscularis, which is made up of smooth muscles. Below the longitudinal muscularis layer, we have the inner circular muscularis layer, which is also made up of smooth muscles. Now, inside this, we have the submucosal layer, which consists of loose connective tissue. It has nerves, blood vessels, and lymph vessels, and the innermost layer is mucosa, which has epithelium-bearing goblet cells that secrete mucus. Now, let's discuss some modifications in gut histology which impart the specific characteristics to various parts. Number 1. Esophagus. Esophagus does not have the serosa layer. Number 2. Stomach. Muscularis is most developed in stomach and mucosa forms rugae, the irregular folds, and gastric glands in stomach. And finally, the small intestine. The mucosa layer forms villi, microvilli, and intestinal glands in the small intestine. Also, the submucosa hair forms Brunner's glands. Stay tuned for brand new episode.